Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys joining me from the hotel room here in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Actually, up here we have our annual Bridgeford Protein meeting got going on right now. So I'm up here with Luke Clausen and Matt Steffen and Jim Moyna, Brian Partek, Joey Uribe Jr., just getting our annual meeting up here. Wanted to have a chance to do today's video, guys. And today what I want to talk about is I want to talk about something that I learned about bass fishing that took me probably over 1,000 hours to learn, that I'm going to teach you guys just here in this video. So you guys are gonna get the accelerated course on something that took me forever to learn in bass fishing. So we're going to get into that in today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, thank you very much for everybody that's taken time to use and bookmark my Tackle Warehouse link that you see in the video description here. You guys hear me talking about that a lot. But if there's one thing that you guys like to do to support intuitive angling, it's either hitting that subscribe button or using and using and bookmarking that Tackle Warehouse link along with my other links in the description. And I know you guys will probably get tired of hearing that, but that's really the reason I'm doing these videos on YouTube. So big thank you for me and my family, for everybody that's been supporting the channel. We really appreciate that. Okay, guys, this is something that took me forever to learn. It's like when I first started fishing professionally, 1986 was my first year in professional fishing. And out of just a gift of the universe, I can't believe how it even happened, but I was fortunate enough to qualify for the Bassmaster Classic my rookie year. And then I struggled for the next 2 years and just spent so much time learning and trying to figure out how to become a successful pro angler. And it literally took me over 1,000 hours of fishing to figure this one thing out. And that's what I want to talk to you guys about in today's video, is what I figured out. And I'm going to give you guys a quick tutorial that you don't have to use 1,000 hours to learn it. And that is the thing that took me 1,000+ hours to learn, is how to correctly assess the potential that the area that I'm fishing has. Now, this is so critical, guys, because in order for you to be successful as a bass angler, and in order for you to quickly locate and find fish and catch bass, you have to accurately and quickly assess the potential that the area has that you pull up on to fish. And what happens to a lot of bass anglers when they get started out, before they really figure out how to do this, is they land on an area that they either underestimate the potential, or they overestimate the potential, or they don't understand what the potential of that area is. And either one can be pretty bad, because you may pull up onto an area that is just, it's loaded with bass, but you may be there at the wrong time of day. You may have the wrong technique. You may have some type of a wrong approach. You may leave that area too soon. It may be a timing thing, and you'll never know there's fish there. And then other times you may pull up on an area and you think it's just awesome looking and everything looks good, and there's not that many bass there, and you've overestimated the potential of that area. So let's talk a little bit about how to accurately assess what the potential is of an area and land on those best areas. Okay, there's two things that bass really need, depending upon the time of the year. They need some type of cover, and they need a food source. Now, there are one exception to that. There's a portion of the bass in every lake that are open water roamer fish. And these are the fish that a lot of people, they're spotlighting for bass catch. These are a separate population of fish within a lake. Not all the bass do this. The majority of the bass in a lake, they want some type of cover, some type of ambush point, and they need a consistent food source. Now, that food source can be whatever the primary forage is in the lake. It could be shad, herring, crawdads, perch, gobies, just a lot of different things, different type of minnows, but they have to have a stable food source. So in order for them to have a stable food source, the predatory fish and the whole food chain has to have a suitable environment to do that. So here's what you have to have to accurately assess the area what creates a good area. The best areas to fish, as far as the areas that have the most bass in them, have these characteristics. Number one, they have a diversity of cover. Now that cover can be anything. It can be whatever is unique to the lake that you fish. If you guys fish down south or even maybe up north some, it could be aquatic vegetation. It could be reeds, cattails, lily pads, whatever. If you're in my part of the country, it could be different type of rock bank, gravel banks, it could be drop-offs, it could be wood cover, it could be boat docks or anything like that. But the best areas, the areas that have the most potential, are the ones that have the cover that can hold the most bass. And normally that is some type of a diversity of cover or grass. Aquatic vegetation or submergent or emergent vegetation, it's the #1 bass habitat. That's why lakes that have hydrilla and milfoil and lily pads and that type of thing, they're usually the best fishing lakes out there, because lakes with aquatic vegetation it can support the entire food chain. You know, everything from the microorganisms to the little insects to the perch and up on the line. So one of the best areas you can fish, guys, if you have aquatic vegetation. If you don't have aquatic vegetation, that is when you need some type of a diversity to cover. The more cover that you have in a particular area of diversity, the better the potential of that area is. So in other words, in my part of the country or typical man-made impoundment, a high potential area will have a mix of a lot of different stuff. It has a mix of steep banks, it has a mix of flat banks, it has a mix of good spawning habitat, it has a mix of wood cover in various depths, it has some offshore structure like ledges and drop-offs, it has external cover like seawalls, pilings, boat docks. It could be anything, just depends on what's there. But the more of that type of cover within one area, the higher potential for that area to be good. And second to that, guys, you have to have a proximity to deeper water. So when you're looking to read the water or assess the potential of an area, the best water that you can have is that diversity of cover with some type of proximity to deeper water to it. And not just a proximity to deeper water, but you have to have varying depths in there. Flat banks, 45-degree angle banks, steep banks, all that type of stuff, is conducive to holding a lot of fish. And the final thing with that is it needs to be positioned most of the time within some type of a major tributary or creek arm in the lake. Main Lake, in my opinion, it does not hold as many bass per acre as a major creek tributary. So if you have a major creek on the lake that you have, and you've got a diversity of cover within that creek, you are in a high potential area. And that potential of for you to catch a lot of fish in that area is extremely great. Now, every one of those, there's a gradient to that, because I just described to you the ideal situation, but that's not going to exist in every lake. Some areas you may have that type of cover, but not as much of it, or you may not have quite a large of a diversity, or maybe you don't have the deep water access. And as you lose those elements, of diversity of cover, of grass cover, of proximity to deeper water, of varying degrees of bank angle, or the position of that cover within a cove or creek, then the potential of an area goes down in order that you're going to catch a lot of fish or a large number of fish. One of the things that you want to do in bass fishing is you want to put yourself around the most number of fish, the bigger populations of bass. Now, you can catch fish off of isolated targets occasionally, but those isolated target fish are not going to have big numbers in there. That's why, say, for example, you go down like a sort of a nothing looking type bank that doesn't have much cover on it. Yeah, there may be a lay down log on the bank that you can catch a fish off of, but you're not going to catch a bunch of fish off of it. If you go on the other side of the lake and there's a big lily pad field or a big hydrilla field or a ton of boat docks in there, you have potential to catch a lot of bass on it. So put yourself around the high potential areas. This is one of the things that took me forever to learn. And it may seem obvious and simple now, but until you've actually done it and seen it and stay in that type of water, you're never going to fully learn how productive it is. Because one of the things that you really have to remember on this is when you're assessing potential, you have to analyze all of those ingredients that I just mentioned to you to accurately assess how long you should spend in an area. Because one of the things about it is, like, say you get into an area that has everything that I just talked about. Yeah, that the potential of that area is still there, but you also have to figure out the bait they want. You have to figure out the color, the lure profile, the lure category, the casting angle, your boat positioning. There's a ton of different factors that go into it, even though you found the best area. So you can be in some of the best water in the lake, and if you're not there at the right time of day, because fish have different bite windows throughout the course of the day, with the right technique, with the right color, with the right boat positioning, you're not going to maximize the potential of that area. So this is just something that takes time and experience. It's like, if I was in the boat with you guys, I could show you exactly what I mean when we're on the water, but I've tried to do the best I can to sort of explain what to look here for. And take some time to find these type of areas. And most of the time, as something that will really speed the process up, is look at your map and locate 2 or 3 of the largest creek arms in the lake, and go into those creek arms and figure out the creek arm that has the most diversity of cover. Make that your lake for the day. Just stay in that one creek arm. Since it has a diversity of cover and deep water, the potential is there, and your job is to figure out the technique and the lure and the color that the fish want. So anyway, guys, hope it helps you out, and we'll check in later. See you.